We left off after Nana finished off another target. Kyoya and the healer question her, but she plays the victim and asks the healer to fix the loot box. He reveals that he found one of the photos, but plot armor kicks in and it's shown to be the fake one. So Nana tells them that he was blackmailing her because he got nudes from his picture quirk. But when they came here he attacked her then suddenly fell over. They decide that it may be an illness or an enemy of humanity that led to his visit to hell. She goes back to his room to gather all the photos, but Kyoya followed her to look if he had any medication for an illness. He confronts her about the photo and shows her that it looks staged, but he cannot prove it. He thinks that Nana showed Night Eye the picture so he can drop his guard, then lured him to the shed so he can be easily taken care of. She leaves the room but realizes that she only has 4 of the 5 photos. So Nana rushes back to the healer who just found something that will surely make Nana send her to heaven, but she seems to be confused by it so she puts her living status on pending. She tells the healer that his vision has been proven wrong before so this one cannot be believed and gaslights her into believing that she is innocent. The next day, they hold a funeral for him. Kyoya asks why the police weren't called, but the teacher tells him that there aren't any on the island, so he reveals that Nana said an enemy of humanity made him a hashtag and goes to do an autopsy, but Nana confronts him so they go outside to talk. She tells him that there may be a serial smoker on the compound, which causing him to think that Nana may not be the smoker because since she can read minds she should have already known he was an immortal so it would be dumb to try and off him. Kyoya decides it doesn't matter and goes inside to do the autopsy, but the loot box suddenly rises as a necromancer steps forward and reveals that they can ask the body how he died. Nana begins freaking out as she's hearing the body's thoughts and he's in great pain so everyone convinces him to lay him back to rest. She follows him into the night and decides to go for the double kill. But Kyoya followed her and reveals their location. Kyoya tells them to be more careful on their dates, but the necromancer isn't a simp so he leaves. They realize that he has scars all over his body so his girlfriend tells them that he got burnt while he was helping people escape a cinema that was caught on fire. The next day, Nana feels tired so she goes to the nurse's room and escapes through the window. She sneaks into the necromancer's room and gives him a gift to die for, but on her way back she hears an animal in trouble. She tells them that she was in bed when she heard the cat and went to help him, so Kyoya gets cat food to lure her out. In the night, Nana prepares to reunite the couple, but somebody suddenly holds her down. Nana realizes that the necromancer was been a puppet and the real necromancer is his girlfriend. She explains that in the fire he was too busy saving everyone to save himself, but she couldn't let him rest and brought him back to be with her forever. The necromancer says she will tell the class what she tried to do, so Nana reveals that she smoked all the missing classmates so far and she will gaslight the entire class into believing that she's innocent. Nana tries to make a deal with her that if the necromancer releases her, she will say what her boyfriend is thinking so he lets Nana go, who immediately does the race and escapes. She follows Nana into the forest where it's revealed that she needs items from the loot boxes to res them. She attacks the necromancer but is forced to retreat further into the forest, but many more zombies begin showing up. She reveals that this island has many quirk holders that were slaughtered and buried. Nana finds a cabin in the woods and realizes that the zombies are weak to sunlight, then decides she just needs to hide until morning. The necromancer finds the cabin and sends overripe humans to attack her, but plot armor kicks in when morning arrives in time so she locks Nana inside the shed and leaves until nightfall has arrived once again. In the night, she opens the door but Nana seems to be missing. She searches for the entire night but found no sign of her so she heads back to her dorm where Nana appears and tackles her to the floor. She takes the item that shackles her boyfriend into this world and forces her to come to Nana's favorite location. She threatens to toss it off the cliff but the necromancer begs her not to. Nana reveals that she rigged the door with tape so she could have escaped at any time, then begins to poke many holes in her story about how her boyfriend became past tense. The necromancer reveals that she loved him from afar but he was with someone else, so she decided to make him hers by giving him an all-expense-paid ticket to heaven by starting the fire. Then Nana reunites her with him. She walks back to the dorms when she spots a new victim who can create poison with her quirk. Nana gives her acupuncture and makes her give out her phone code before she goes on the Heaven Express. She drags her body next to the river and goes to her room to lay a trap for her next victim. Nana then goes to Kyoya who begins to question her, but Nana reveals that the necromancer made her boyfriend a hashtag so they could be together. But when she revealed that his soul keeper was in pain she went skydiving so they can reunite in the afterlife. She makes the Fire Lord Lord cremate all the vessels, then head back to the dorm, where Kyoya reveals to everyone that Nana has been near every person who seems to go missing. They suddenly hear a scream from inside, and they see a freshly made angel going back to God, so Kyoya sends away everyone but Nana and the healer. He sees her contacts on the table and swallows the fluid to see that it was poisoned, which leads him to the solution of her passing. He begins accusing Nana of smoking her classmate, but the healer steps in and reveals that the deceased was in an argument with a missing classmate at the time that Nana was with them, but he dismisses her because Nana could have staged the message. Everyone arrives as he explains that Nana smoked someone in the forest, then placed her next victim's eye contact in her room before joining them to make the Fire Lord burn all the evidence of her crime. But she couldn't get rid of the victim's phone because he was keeping a close eye on her. She says she couldn't have known the password, but he backs her in a corner and checks if she has the victim's phone in her inventory. Kyoya finds nothing because Nana rigged a body to send a message when sunlight makes it break down, so everyone begins shaming Kyoya, so he apologizes as Nana claims to hear the voice of the victim and says they must work together. Kyoya accepts her peace because he has no evidence but decides to stay and investigate the body. Nana goes outside to think when the healer comes by and puts a box cutter at her talk box and questions if she can really read minds. She tells the healer her quirk is poison, then disarms her, and goes to Nana's favorite spot where she asks for the real healer, so she transforms into Tachibana, who carries her to his hideout. He reveals that he has been watching her through the eyes of animals and says that he came on the island 5 years ago, but his classmates all started graduating themselves to heaven to see who the strongest was. After he won the battle royal, he returned home, but he found that the government was hunting him, so he went back to hide in the island. He wants to make a deal with Nana, as he suddenly begins choking on poison, so she decides to call her higher-ups. Tachibana transforms into Kyoya and reveals that he also steals people's quirks with their appearance, which is why he is the most powerful of his class. She runs away from him, but he uses Greater Sun to blow her back out. He goes over and asks who her to contact the higher-ups, so she tells him to turn into the necromancer and ask her loot box for the answer. He wants to know her background, so she reveals that she has an older brother who left home, along with a mom and dad who was sent to heaven by a quirk user. She begins passing out, so he gives her the advice that, when the bodies start piling up, people will adapt and begin smoking ops so they can survive. Nana wakes up beside the healer, who says that she heard a knock at the door and went out to see her injured. She says she was attacked by an enemy of humanity who disguised themselves as the healer. She goes back to her room where Tachibana appears. She questions why he didn't just heal her himself and realizes that when he copies people he also gains their weaknesses. The healer suddenly comes to her room and says she wants to continue her talk, where Nana reveals that as a child she was obsessed with manga, so she would sneak out in the night to buy the new issues on release. But one day when she came home she forgot to lock the window, which allowed a burglar to come in to make her an orphan. She begins breaking down, but the healer consoles her as they fall asleep. In the morning, Kyoya walks into her room and calls them over to the men's dorm, where an overripe person was found by the window to the surprise of Nana. Kyoya starts off by investigating everyone who was close to the incident quirks. It's revealed to be a voice changer, astral projection, and a glorified magnet. Kyoya asks the victim's girlfriend Fuko about her quirk, so they go outside, where she reveals that her ability is to use the atmosphere to perform a wind slash. Kyoya immediately heals from the attack. Then Nana goes to continue investigating with the healer, but she begins acting suspicious and asks Nana what's her plan after they graduate. She reveals she wants to attend college, while the healer says that she wants to become a doctor, but she would like Nana to come stay with her family because she would be happy there. Nana gets angry of the thought of family and leaves, but she scolds herself later for acting emotional. A knock comes at the door, where the teacher reveals that the healer sent her new clothes. Nana realizes that the bottle of poison she has is missing and the healer may have found it, as Kyoya come by, so she accompany him on his interrogation of Fuko. She says that she was with a friend at her dorm all night, but tells them that the victim started to jog earlier on to lose weight, so Kyoya leaves to check out her alibi. He asks Nana if she was lying, but Nana says she couldn't have done it because the Fire Lord was keeping a sleepover next door, but Kyoya counters by saying he had his breather slashed first so he couldn't make any noise, and goes on to reveal that because his ability is to shrink, escaping through the window doesn't make sense because he can easily hide anywhere. Nana sees that he's on the right track, so he goes to deal with the healer. She notices that the healer is bathing and looks around for the poison but finds her diary instead. She reads through her diary and finds that she was acting suspiciously because she was ordering a gift for her. Tachibana appears with the poison in hand and taunts her for suspecting the healer. Before leaving, she goes into the bathroom and finds her passed out in the bathtub. She places the healer in the bed and goes to the teacher for help, but he says there's no doctors on the island, so she goes to Kyoya, who's performing an autopsy, and gets medicine for her. She then goes to the kitchen, but it's locked, so she breaks in. She feeds the healer medicine and begins feeling relieved that she's getting better. To Nana's surprise, she reveals that a cat came to her in the night holding his injured friend, so she healed it. But afterward she began feeling weak and passed out. She sees a cut on Nana's finger and tries to heal her, but Nana began freaking out because the next time she heals someone, the healer may not survive. They begin vibing with each other while Tachibana tells the smoker that if he hunts another animal in the forest, he's gonna meet Jesus, as he wonders who Nana's higher-ups are. Nana makes food for the healer, then leaves because she needs to continue her mission, but falls to the ground when her heart grew a few sizes bigger. She sits in her room dazed, but the healer comes in to speak to her about the night she became Batman. The healer points out inconsistencies in her story and makes her realize that her parents locked the window for her the night they went on vacation, so she isn't responsible for what happened. The next day, they go to the shopping area where Nana decides to get something for her newfound friend. While they are walking, she gives her a present to study for medical school, as the healer gives her a pillow so she'll remember her as she sleeps. In the night, Tachibana comes to her and reveals he saw the healer walking in the forest to go meet someone. She rushes outside to stop her, but on the way she gets a call from the higher-ups that makes her regress back to her imposter mindset. The healer runs away from the hunter, but she trips and falls in front of the shed. The smoker get ready to pack her up, but Nana takes one for the team and reveals that the imposter is the student who can astral travel. She reveals that he pretended to listen to the Fire Lord's speech while he committed the crime. He tries to poke her again, but Nana catches the knife and tells the healer to run because she is not meant for the thug life. Seeing that she has escaped, Nana gives up. As the smoker begins getting choked by Kyoya, it's revealed Nana told him about everything and tasked him to find his real body while she goes to save the healer from his spirit. She lays by the shed awaiting her final rest as she drifts off to see her parents, but she sees the healer over her. She begins healing Nana and uses all her powers to heal her, but the price of this was her remaining lifespan. She begins to reminisce about all they have been through to get to this as she begins breaking down and begs for her to come back. Like the video. If you liked the video, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching. Stay swifty.